Okay. All right. This is a closed set. So when you all are talking, make sure you project your voice.
Okay.
Talk to me as if I'm in the lobby.
Okay.
So that way, when we get everything situated, yeah, we can adjust levels. And I'm going to go ahead and get this one situated. All right, we are Facebook Live right now, so tell everybody hello.
Hey,
Hi.
live.
All right.
What's the name of your production?
Gritty Ones Productions.
Gritty Ones?
Yes, Gritty Ones.
Gritty Ones.
Yes.
Gritty Ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Michael's very, he doesn't have enough light on him.
Well, on here, yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay, it's
perfect.
different.
Yeah, so since we're going live, because the
That doesn't
Mac
do
camera is okay, but you know nothing beats that real deal. All right, here we go. But yeah, I started. I was going to start Gritty Ones Productions like years ago.
Yeah.
And I just finally did the fictitious business license about a month and some change ago, so almost 2 months.
Yeah, tell us. Gritty Ones. I mean, that sounds so southern.
Well, it came to be because back in high school, I did a movie with a good friend of mine named Nadia Lindsay. And the movie was called A Bowl Full of Grits, and it was about these two guys fighting over this woman. And my character ends up dying at the very end of the movie.
Wow.
So in all dramatic essence, I crawled to the camera at the very end of the scene and said, "Me y'all grits," and then I died. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and this was in high school, so
Okay.
yeah. But from there, from 11th grade up until the day we graduated and until now, friends from back then at my high school still call me Bo Grits.
Okay.
Which was the name of my character. So everyone that was involved in that movie, when I said, hey, I was going to start a production company, it was going to be called The Gritty Ones.
The Gritty Ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did
So-
you grow up? Where was
New Orleans.
Oh.
Yeah.
My mom was from New Orleans.
Oh, really?
His mom was from
Yeah, we were talking
Louisiana.
about.
Yeah, we were talking about that. So we had
Everybody,
a southern and a Bay Area connection.
Yeah.
And funny enough, my son was born in the Bay Area over at Travis Air Force Base. And I never forget the day he was born. I was like, wow. I said, you know, when Dad goes to get jerseys made, we get 2 jerseys made. One that's going to say NOLA red, which would be me, and then he would be Bay City red, you know, and stuff like that. So I still haven't gotten the jerseys yet, but they're coming. They're coming, you know. So, all righty. So first off, I want to let you all know, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
To promote this event that's coming up in the week after Comic-Con. First off, we're going to start off with some introductions. Hey, everybody, in Facebook Live.
Hey, Facebook Live.
It's Freddie Lee Jones III, a.k.a. Cosplay Freddie, and I'm here with Michael James and Miss Holly Della Gupta, all right, who just told us that she regrets having the hyphen name. She wish she could put it all together. I thought that was really interesting, but it's already typed in, and if it's Facebook legal, it's Facebook done. So, just had a couple of quick questions. Again, thank you all for coming out. Do you all have any Instagram names that you want to put out there? Or definitely plug Afro Comic-Con?
Yep. Afro Comic-Con, right?
Right. Afro Comic-Con.
Afro Comic-Con. Bella Ballerina.
I think I'm not sure. My other one, you know, that's Blackberry Juice.
Oh, that's right. Blackberry Juice.
Blackberry Juice.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Afro Comic-Con, mainly. That's what we're all about right now.
Right. So, and as you all know, my listening audience and my viewing audience, I'm Cosplay Freddie. You can find me at Cosplay Freddie on Instagram. So, we all know why we're here. We're going to be talking about the first annual Afro Comic-Con here in the Bay Area in Emeryville over at Expressions. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the address for Expressions? Oh,
Yeah. I didn't want to put it too far away, but yeah. What's the address? There it is, right there.
oh.
6601 Shelmont Street, which is right here. Yeah.
All right. So we
In
are.
Emeryville, California, 94608, I believe.
Yes.
There you
That's
go.
pretty spot on. So tell me this. What made you all decide to do Afro comedy? Since you laughed, you gotta go first.
Michael, well, I'm not gonna tell your whole motivation because I think you should do that, but it was Michael's idea, and I am, the friend, the board member, the supporter that everything pretty much that he suggested in the last 5 years that I've been helping him on the nonprofit work. Usually I say, okay, I'll look at it and say, I think, this seems pretty good, or I criticize it. But this one, I really liked it. Maybe not immediately as much as I started to like it, but as we went along, okay, I'm all in on this one. I love this idea. So he came up with the idea.
Yeah. So basically, I was telling you before, I ran a nonprofit organization called Dusty. Oakland Dusty, you can look it up online. But Dusty stands for Digital Underground Storytelling for Youth. It's a nonprofit that started back in like 1999, kind of kicked off in 2000, 2001. And part of that is it's a literacy program where we went out to WonderCon, went to all these events, and we took a bunch of kids, and we were taking kids to Comic-Con over in San Francisco, or WonderCon to see, the comic world. And so a lot of the kids didn't really see a lot of images or heroes that reflected themselves. And so they loved it, but at the same time, they're like, we don't see anybody that looks like us.
Right.
And so moving forward, that was like way back in 2000. And then after a while, I had, started working with a coworker of mine, and I was telling him, I'm really thinking about, trying to recreate or redo our nonprofit and around literacy again, but around comic books.
Okay.
And, I thought about the idea of doing a Black comic books, festival, and I'm trying to think. So, the idea just came along. I think I was really more inspired by the boycott. And I'll tell you that because I was thinking about that when you asked me some of the questions earlier, and we were talking about it earlier. And I was really inspired by the whole movement of us creating our own. Right. It's like we need to create our own, stop asking people for help and that kind of thing. And so
the boycott.
The boycott of the Oscars. Yeah. Jada, was Jada Smith?
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, she basically was just really, I loved everything she was saying online, and she was just saying, we got to stop, we can do this,
right.
We can do it. And so, I was looking around and I saw on Instagram, they were doing some stuff back east, and they did a bunch of stuff around, but there was nothing happening on the West Coast,
right.
And then, I became familiar with the Black Comic Arts Festival in San Francisco and whatnot, but then I was like, it still didn't resonate with, with what I was, the vision that I had, had thought about. And so discussing it with my coworker and trying to put it on, we, came up with the idea of, Afro Comic-Con.
Okay, nice. Okay, awesome.
That's a long story, but yeah.
No, but it's a story that needs to be told, because as a kid growing up in New Orleans, you always heard about, California. California was always the first to, with diversity and things of that nature. People left the South to come to Cali. People left the North to come over to the West Coast. But for something like this, I find it oddly strange that for a Black comic book convention, like we're the last, doing that. But it's happening. Right. We have a date, we have a time, we have, the venue, it's going to happen. So, yeah.
Don't forget about the glam part.
Yeah, but not only that. No, in putting this together, we found out, Oakland was one of the first comic book conventions, like ever before, before Comic-Con.
Oh, wow.
And it was, I forget what it was. Jonathan is more versed in the history of it.
One of our team members
Jonathan Flowers
said he was one of the first people to start working on the original Comic-Con that started here.
Yeah, it started here in Oakland, and all
Predecessor of the big one that was
yeah, and so it changed from I think what he was doing then, and then it became WonderCon, and then changed to Comic-Con. But the idea of bringing an Afro Comic-Con, or that closely related to it, we really, this is, I believe, it's the first, and I don't want to take away from the other efforts of these other comic books conventions that are going on. But yeah, and in doing that, we kind of we were really struggling with the idea of having just a Black comic book festival, because we're more than just Black. I believe, and I think that it's just a love of the art and the visual art and the storytelling. And so we wanted to be inclusive, because this is California. Cali is very, very diverse and mixed. And so we played around with some names, and I think we wanted to add a acronym on there.
It sounded a little like
it sounded cartoonish, right? Yeah. Right. So we added BLAM on there, to be kind of more inclusive of just not just Black, but it's Black, Latino, Asian manifested.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. So thank you all for taking my shine and my question away. So, but I do appreciate it, because our audience would love to know, what that means.
Right.
Some folks feel that anytime you say that there's something specifically Black, everyone thinks, oh, well, I can't do it because I'm not Black.
Right.
Well, which is not true, because when you go to different festivals, especially in Cali, I can honestly tell you, I've not been to any more festivals throughout my time in the military than I have in the 4 years I've been in Cali.
Wow.
And stuff like that. But I love the fact that it teaches you a diversity, be proud of your culture, but also include other folks in there.
Right.
Because just recently we went to in Berkeley, the Brazilian festival.
Okay.
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it was actually really nice. And what I loved about it, and then showing my young 3-year-old, that hey, not only do you have Brazilians that not only look like you, look like you, but they also look like me, and stuff like that. And you have a melting pot of all of these different Brazilians, and my son was just like, "Oh, look, Daddy." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Brazilian." That it's a whole melting pot of color.
Right.
That makes sense, but you can still be proud of it without being exclusive. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes we had issues with people, getting the feeling like, okay, if you do this, I'm gonna feel other people are gonna feel excluded, and my feeling is, first of all, being white and being involved in it, I'm not. I'm supporting it, and I'm with it, and I love it. And so if there are people who think, okay, I can't, I don't feel comfortable because I'm white to go to this, and I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like, well, don't. Because everything else tends to be more white, and so if you have something that's really highlighting people of color, mostly run by people of color, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? It's time to give, people of color a little more
shine,
right? Well, it doesn't mean you can't come. It just means you're not
the centerpiece.
You don't have to always be.
Right. Exactly.
And that brings me to just another part of this too. I mean, historically, Al and I grew up in Berkeley. Berkeley's always been pretty diverse. Well, it was diverse when we grew up there. Forced, although even though it was forced back then, but. I always like to tell the story. How was there times when I was younger? I was a big fan of Bruce Lee. Okay. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't part Asian, because I love this man so much. And I actually, in 8th grade, me and a friend of mine, Dan King, and Kenneth, and a bunch of people, brothers, all joined the Asian Student Union. And we were in junior high school. We were just, dark as we could be, in the Asian Student Union. And some people had a problem with it, but some people knew that we were fans of karate and kung fu and Bruce Lee. So,
Quick second.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make an adjustment on the camera.
Okay.
Quick second. But still tell your story. So
I need
to come out.
Yeah. So anyway, in doing that, you know, with having that kind of love for Bruce Lee and the art form, you couldn't not tell us that we could go and learn more about the culture and learn more about the art. And I think that's the beauty of America itself, is that diversity. And so, you know, that's what we're all about. And that's what we're trying to promote.
Yeah, supposed to be.
Yeah, America's kind of funny. Yeah, we know. But so, but orange people will get it. They'll get involved pretty soon.
Yes. I like how you put that. I like how you put that. Okay, so since we kind of answered another question, y'all are killing me on my questions. We just talked about pushback, and I love that you brought that up about folks who feel like because it's a black comic book convention, because you don't feel like you're the centerpiece, they feel like you can't come. No, we want everyone to come.
Yeah.
But like you
Celebrate somebody else.
Yes, yes, celebrate someone else. So why do you all feel that this event, and let's just call it what it is, this movement is so important?
Yeah, I don't even know where to start on that one. There's so many reasons, but it's, yeah, like Michael just said, that's what our country is supposed to be about.
Right.
And we always, you know, in this country, obviously, have been very far from that in many, many, many ways.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, the ideal, someone came up with that ideal, our forefathers or whatever, even if they weren't all on it correctly all the time. And we just have to keep, you know, we just have to keep trying to push what we believe in.
Right.
Whatever anybody says, people are trying to drag us down, you know, doing this even in certain ways. We just have to go on trying to do what we believe in, which is love of, you know, people loving each other, supporting each other, honoring each other and what they can do. And color is just a construct that got put in there somehow. So we can't ignore it because it's there, but you know, we're trying to work through it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, part of the movement too is around Afrofuturism. I mean, we kind of got introduced to that. I mean, I've heard of the concept before, but I think William Jones, Matson Jones Jr. with that long name, basically Mason Jones Jr. You know, kind of we talked about that whole concept around Afrofuturism, and I think, you know, it's defined in a certain way, but you know, you can define it the way that you kind of think of it. But you know, if we talk about what our future is going to be like, you know, the future in sci-fi, comic books, graphic novels, those kind of things, usually omitted people of color.
Right.
And
But they got killed off.
or they get killed off really quick, real quick, you know.
Yeah, the one thing my dad brought this up one time, and sorry to cut you off, but my dad used to talk about Star Trek.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and again, once I hit the age of reason, which would have been about 13 or 14, my dad was always, and I hate to use preaching, but my dad was always instructing me on how the world really works. And he said, well, have you noticed why Aurora is the only black person on the show?
Right.
I was like, well, no, I never thought about it. And he was like, well, if you think about it, you know, and they even kind of tell you in the start of Star Trek, it's the final frontier. Mm-hmm. So everyone that's on the Enterprise represents their own culture. And he was like, so why isn't there a black male? And he was like, well, you know, truth be told, it's always looked at as you may not be around because of the way things are going. I was like, wow, that was like totally deep. Yeah. And then when I started paying attention to that, I noticed, yeah, when we're in sci-fi movies, we're there, either the muscle or the security. Yeah. We get killed off. Yeah. Or if there's a female, she is she's part of the medical team. She's part of the exploration team. And we're just the hired guns. And Prometheus, I'm looking at you for that. That was a poor choice of using Idris Elba as the space captain when he should have been something more than that. That's enough about that. You know? Right. I saw that one in Korea, and I just kept looking at it. And the first thing that came to my mind was what my dad said. Security, you know, or something else, but never on the medical side. I was like, damn, it makes so much sense. But yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that totally, you know, talks about that. I mean, you know, the movement, as you say, is just something that we really need to recognize, and we need to embrace that as people, you know, ourselves, because if we don't see ourselves in those positions, then we won't be in those positions. We don't creatively put ourselves in those positions. We're not going to be there. So, you know, for me, you know, I question the fact why, you know, Superman, you know, why was he the only white guy to come down? It's like, what was the black guys or black people on Krypton? Right. You know, and then another brother that came from the same planet that left from the other side of it, you know, and made it, you know, and then, you know, there's been all this creative writing around. There's another, what do you call it? Alternate planet where Superman is black, you know, and those kind of things. And so I think this is great. And I was like, well, why can't we get, you know, why can't we have them here in America, you know, and or whatever? What does the African Superman look like? What is the Nigerian, you know, Trinidadian, all these other countries, you know, what do they look like? And then why can't Spider-Man be Asian or something like that? You know, there was a field trip with a bunch of kids on there, and only Peter Parker got bit. Well, you know, more likely some other kids could have gotten bit. A woman could have gotten bitten by a spider. So, you know, the stories, you know, they're still available to us to create and think about. And, you know, that's why I think that this our event is so important, because we're talking about diversity and inclusion, and we're talking about creating, you know, these different things, and that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, I'll add to that just a little bit, because it just reminded me. So even though we haven't emphasized it, and maybe we'll do that next time more, but it's not just land, African women, it's women too, because they have definitely been relegated, you know, to the side, as we all know. And there was some study or some video thing we saw, remember this, where there was a shelf full of children's books, and they first took out all the ones that they left, you know, all the ones that had any female characters, so a whole bunch came up, and just went down the line all the way to the point of, you know, where the female character was actually strong and independent and intelligent, or I don't remember what all the things were, but it ended up with this huge book, and there was like a couple of little books there. So I mean, but it's the same kind of thing. It's all about the conference is all about, like what Michael was saying, helping people with their creativity, not just you know, about different colored icons or whatever, but also just imagining and being inspired and being educated in a direction where you can see yourself in art and writing, and also media, arts, professions, tech world, all these kinds of things that a lot of people either don't have the pathway into or don't really believe self-confidence-wise because they have never been shown. This is normal for you. You can do this. So I mean, that's going a little farther, but that is part of our direction. That's part of the reason we're doing this, and I think it's so important. From the education background,
that's a great point. Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
No, it just kind of, you kind of reminded me of just some things, and then I'm just revisiting a bunch of stuff in my mind. But even our earlier talk about Louisiana, I love Louisiana. I mean, that was like where my family's from and everything else. And I remember just the first time I actually went when I was a younger kid, and I remember seeing the spectrum of people, you know, for the first time. This is way back when. And I remember my family taking a family photo, and I wish we had it, but I don't have it anymore. But I remember the spectrum of people in my family went from my color, even a little darker, your color, all the way to Howard's color. And I remember meeting a white guy in our family. He wasn't white, and I take that back. He would let you know, don't ever call me white. He looked white to me. Now he was like every white man I've seen, but he's like,
I was going to bring that up. That she said that.
He said, don't ever. And I just like, he was so serious about it. And I remember being a kid. He says, I'm family, and we have the same blood running through our veins. And I remember he was just like very serious. And I was like a cousin from the other side. But I was a little kid, and when I had heard that, and I remember, just looking at the world really different after coming from Louisiana.
Right.
In terms of like who we are as a people and how diverse we are, you know, and then growing up as an adult, understanding that we are the first people,
Right.
and that everything comes from us, and so therefore Afro Comic Con is everyone. So yeah.
Okay. So, you know, basically it all just kind of, you know, it starts from one seed, blossoms into everything else, a couple little hybrids here and there.
Yeah.
But the end result is it always comes back to the original.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. I love that. So everyone, listen to what Michael said when you rewatch this interview. When he was talking about his family member, he said, "I want to take that black," which was really interesting. And what he was talking about, also for those of you who don't know, there's an expression that was labeled in, I know parts of Louisiana, mostly in New Orleans. It was called Poisson Blanc, which was French for passing for white. So that cousin didn't want to be considered passed for white. Right. And but a lot of times, you know, you did have a lot of, you know, free men of color, free women of color that did pass because they saw the economical opportunities and everything else to advance, unlike their darker brothers and sisters. So, hey, I do appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah. All right. So, quick question, and this is a two-parter. What do you see the end goal for this year's Afro Comic Con, and what is an end goal that we should look at for next year's Afro Comic Con?
I know you heard it. That is, yeah, that's an excellent question. So, because this is our first year, there's a lot. Okay.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, hold that thought. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
It only gives us like 9 good minutes because we're doing an HD. So yeah, we have to do HD,
Are we
otherwise.
still on Facebook?
Yes, we're still on the.
live.
No.
We can't like go scratching our.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you can if you want, but on the editing side, we can cut that part out. But everyone live will see that. So just want to make sure. Yeah, we're good to go. All right. And yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, so this first year it's an adventure for us. It's a mega adventure, and I am so grateful for deciding, you know, to be on this ride with Michael and the rest of our crew. By the way, I want to give a shout out because we have an amazing group of people who, some of them came on fairly late in the day, and so we have Jonathan Flowers, John Eric Henry, Constance Pleasant, forget the names, Robin Barnes,
Marlon
Beaver,
Gentry, I don't know Gentry's
Gentry
last.
Smith. To name a few.
Yeah, Jane Thomas, who else?
Kenneth Daniels and Shantae. Neely. I have to say something about the Neely in a minute, but I can't help it myself. Anyway, this is another New Orleans thing. So these people, because of these people, Michael and our work that we started, it's making it possible to, let's hope, and I think it's going to be a big success. So, and what we've always heard from everybody is, oh, the first year's going to be crap, right? Did we hear that a bunch of times?
Yeah, you know, first year
is going to just not going to be any good. Well, this is not true in our case. I really don't think so. I think it's going to be really good. But it is a huge learning experience because neither of us have ever run a conference before, right? So I think one of the things that we're trying to get out of it this year is how to be better next year.
Right. Yeah.
But also the hope, you know, and the plan is that people will come away with connections. So it's networking, learning, finding, you know, possibly either new or old paths to progress into, being entertained, being uplifted, being inspired, you know, all of those things. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for us, the future of Afro Comic Con, you know, I'm looking at I see a lot of possibilities for us, actually. Don't want to tell them all, but I think that, next year, I'm looking forward to next year in a bigger space, if possible. More artists, more panel discussions, really just growing. I'm kind of the visionary, I guess, within the group, and I want to see us really start looking at other characters and characters that haven't been really recognized in this field, but actually been around for a long, long time. And I want to see them. When you go to Comic-Cons, first thing you see is Superman, Iron Man, and all these Marvel and DC characters bigger than life, and I just kind of want to see that change.
Okay.
When I went to one of the things I always have these stories, but when I went to South Africa for the first time, I saw amazing images of Serena and her sister, Venus. There was this gigantic poster of them, like billboard. Like it was bigger than a billboard, but it was just really prominently displayed in South Africa. And it was just kind of like, wow, that's a trip. It's nice to see them there, but they're from California.
Exactly.
And you don't see that in California,
right?
But you see that over there, right? And so I think that's what the future, what we're hoping to really kind of change. We want to see these bigger billboards of people. We want to see movies made around, Jonathan Giles, he is a professor who wrote White Scripts, Black Supermen, I believe, and he talked about, what's going on in the industry, why they, keep rewriting and keep making the same movies using, white characters and not.
We're showing that movie at the conference.
Yeah, and not going with the black lead characters that could have played. What's the brother's name from Green Lantern?
Ryan Reynolds or John Stewart?
John Stewart.
Okay.
So because they had a great marketing thing going on with John Stewart as a black hero in the comic book series or the animated series, that they could have went ahead with the movie and had a black character, but they decided to go back and dig up the other guy who died.
Hal Jordan. Who, funny enough, and I will say this, I'm not a huge Green Lantern fan.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie because it was from where I'm from. Like, I can actually point out places, that's where I grew up. I'm getting the spanking over here.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it was just funny stuff like that. But it's funny that Hal Jordan goes crazy later on in the comic books and then heads the Sinestro Corps after killing Sinestro, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Which sparks John Stewart's character to come in to take over his mantle as the Green Lantern.
Exactly.
Which I thought was so funny. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy Ryan Reynolds. But to me, Ryan Reynolds plays the exact same person every single movie. But, except for two. He wasn't full Ryan Reynolds in the Amityville Horror remake.
Right.
And there's this movie that a lot of people don't know about called Barry. And it was supposedly set in the 90s, and he was a truck driver in Iraq that gets kidnapped and buried, and he has like 3 hours to live. It was a low budget movie. I don't even think the movie was more than $5 million. Wow. It went straight to DVD, and when people saw it, people were blown away, and questions were like, how come this never went to the theater? Because it was actually a really good movie. The only sad part is, it's him in the box the entire movie. And a cell phone, so it's extremely claustrophobic.
It's like a play.
Yes, it's almost like a theater play watching it. And every time I've shown people this movie, they're like, man, I don't think Ryan Reynolds had that kind of range. I'm like, yeah, wow, he actually does. Now I'm more of a fan, obviously, because of Deadpool. Yeah, and and stuff like that. Because it took me years to enjoy it and wow, because everyone kept talking about it. And that was the thing that I was like, if people talk about it too much, I don't need to see it. But in this case, for Afro Comic Con, we need to talk about it as much as possible. Yeah. So we can get people out there. So again, taking the original, adding your hybrids, and then bringing it back. Yeah. So it's a little, get it out there, get the word out. Because nowadays, people rely on phones for information as opposed to word of mouth.
True.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Like we're going live right now and stuff like that. But back in the day, we would have been at the radio station.
Yep.
Or, you know, we would have been just talking. I'm like, okay, slow down. You say electric. I'm sitting up here writing everything down. So,
We just had one more thing that we wanted to actually, hoping to do this year, but we're probably, not probably, we're definitely going to do it next year. We're not going to be making it for this year, and that is the thing you're saying, you know, about school circle and all that. The pioneers. We want to honor the pioneers.
Yeah.
Of the comic, of the, you know, the people of color that first came out and came up.
Right.
And were the leaders that helped show the way.
Yeah.
Like,
Maury Turner. I mean, you know, we're still doing this. I mean, it's so funny. Even though the conference is October 21st, you know, here in the Bay Area, but you know, next year we're definitely going to do the tribute to Maury Turner, who was the first Black artist at WePal. He worked with Charles Schwartz. And, yeah, and he basically, Charles Schwartz told him, like, you want to do something like this, do it.
that was our cue. That was our cue.
Yeah, so anyway.
But yeah, definitely keep talking since we're still live.
Yeah.
But like so during these little extras, we can just talk about. I gotta change. We gotta change memory.
Yeah, that's okay.
But we are almost done. We are almost done.
No, this has been great. I mean, I love
yeah,
that
we
live
ran
video.
into a friend of ours from Berkeley High who knows
David.
the family, David
Ballard.
Knows the family members of Maury Turner, who is no longer with us. And,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, but he wanted to help us with that tribute,
Okay.
but because of the lateness,
Right.
it's probably going to be held off for until next year.
Not only that, I mean, we want to really look at Michelle Nichols as well. I mean, you know, she's beautiful. You talked about Star Trek and how she was the first, you know, one of these women who were on television. But there's an article or story where she talked about her relationship with Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to quit the series at one time. She thought it was just not that great, but she got a phone call from Martin. It's all written, you know, where Martin told her, you know, you need to stay in this, you know, because Black people need to see themselves
Right.
in the future,
Right.
you know, for this. And, you know, we really do want to, you know, highlight some of the, you know, a lot of the people who came before. And then even people who, you know, who may not have been of color. I mean, I think there should be a tribute to, quite honestly, is Marlon Brando, you know, and because of just the work that he contributed to the Black Panther Party, you know,
We did a lot
political.
for American Indians.
Yeah, he did a lot for Native Americans and those kind of things. So, you know, this is just something that we gotta, you know, embrace. And again, I think the Smiths, you know, they really kind of inspired me to think about, why are we waiting for somebody else to do this? You know,
Right.
We can do it ourselves, and I think it's been really good to open up the door and have other people come in and help us. You know, the door is still open. We still are taking in a lot of help with this because